Well, hey everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Lunch and Learn, brought to you by Information Technology Services and Human Resources and Communications and Marketing.
That's right.
And we're still shopping for sponsors or supporters, so feel free to add your name to that list by clicking the donate button at the bottom of the screen. I'm just kidding. There's no donate button at the bottom, but there should be. Well, hey, so gosh, it's a little bit, how do the kids say it, off the hook today?
Or off the chain.
It could be off the chain if you can't find a hook. Is that why you?
I think so.
Yeah, anyway, Brian's not here, so you can tell already in the first 30 seconds of interaction that we're wildly out of control.
I guess in that sense it'd be off the rails.
That seems more literal to me. Maybe I just don't understand the
I don't think we
backstory
understand
for off
anything.
the chain. Maybe it's like a dog. It's a dog.
Yeah.
It's got to be a dog off the chain. In any event, my name is Joe Vincent. I am not on a chain. And with me is my co-host for this edition of the Lunch and Learn, as always, Kit Avanzado. Kit, it's lovely to have you as well. And we have an episode today that actually is going to draw upon Kit's particular expertise, or at least one element of your very broad and deep expertise, dealing with Print Shop Pro. And so we're going to talk about Print Shop Pro today. So some of you may be saying, wait, what is Print Shop Pro? That's actually my first question that I have on my script here to ask. So we're going to find out, and so it's a good thing you're here today because we're going to learn all about it. We also have the new edition of Get to Know with Kit and Joe. It's we talked about whether or not we should give it away, but it's Ted Wendel. You guys recall that we talked about Dr. Wendel on a prior episode of this show, and everybody's wondering if you got him to sing in the car. I feel like that's the big deal. I actually got emails asking me if I had a budget to offer bribes to Dr. Wendel to get him.
I have a story for after that segment that will explain whether or not I got Ted Wendel to sing in the car.
So there's the
there's
drama continues. I'm so excited about that. Okay, so also last thing before we get started, I have it right here. We are streaming on a couple of social media outlets. You are probably on one of those, so I may mention that, and then you won't be surprised. its.atsu.edu/FB is our Facebook live stream. You could pick it up on there. It's nice because then you don't, you're already logged in, and so if you want to comment or say things that the whole world can read, you can do that. We're also always on our live stream page, atsu.edu. What is it? It's live.atsu.edu. You can find the live stream on there right now. You'll also be able to find the recorded version of this as soon as it ends. Pick it up there. And then we will have a finely polished, censored, and trimmed and tailored version in high definition on YouTube as soon as the live stream is done or shortly thereafter. That's at its.atsu.edu/YT. These are very intuitive links for things.
Yeah,
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they are.
They do a good job.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be our show today. Now, before we get started, I think maybe, Kit, one of the first questions we have to ask, even before, maybe it is in what is Print Shop Pro. So it's obviously housed in communications and marketing, right?
That's correct.
You obviously know about it as part of your job, and you work over
Absolutely.
at communications and marketing anyway.
That is correct, yeah.
By the way, have we told people what you actually do for a living?
I don't know. I think it's been in my lower third.
Do you have a lower
I
third?
do have a lower third. It's pretty fancy. Oh,
What?
look at this. Wait. So, I am the public relations specialist.
Which means you specialize
I do specialize in
in
it.
public relations.
Specifically in communication and marketing.
Yes,
So,
not in other departments, just in
Well, actually, it's for the university as a whole.
So you're a university support department over there at CNM.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're a specialist in public relations. So as a public relations specialist, this somehow wraps into probably not your specific job, but definitely one of your departmental functions.
Absolutely,
Right?
yeah.
Okay, so what in the world is Print Shop Pro, and why should
Right.
we care
Right.
is maybe an important question that you should answer there as well.
Right. Well, it's funny how you asked, Joe.
That is funny.
Conveniently.
It's just written right here. That's the only reason I did.
Exactly. So actually, Print Shop Pro is basically an online work order system that we created at Communication and Marketing to kind of help in terms of efficiency, and it allows real-time access for job submission quotes, estimates, status updates, costs, and other reports, etc. So for the most part, more and more at the university and at CNM specifically, we're just trying to get more efficient. So the more we're able to actually have reports developed and kind of monitor what we're doing and how long jobs are taking us to finish and whatnot, the better it will be for us to kind of improve ourselves and make us more efficient for the other departments and the university.
Yeah, so that's funny because I think I've actually worked here in a time where you're basically fielding phone calls.
Yeah.
Right? And
yeah.
scratching things down on pieces of paper. And so the workflow probably wasn't incredibly efficient. And there were probably a lot of breakdowns in communication, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what leads you to go to a management software like this? Like what was it like
Right.
in the old days?
Well, I guess in the olden days, one of our experts actually is here in this room. So Barb Bevel, kind of behind the scenes over there, she was actually one of the main architects, you could almost say, in terms of incorporating Print Shop Pro into ATSU.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we have another specialist behind the scenes over here. So I guess what the old archaic way of how we handle things was, like you said, kind of handling phone calls, trying to keep a record as much as we can. But what we wanted to do, like I said, was to kind of just make it as efficient as possible and record everything that we were doing so we can go back and say, all right, over the past year, this is what we were able to do, this is how long it took us, etc. So yeah, the old system was the old system. And yeah, moving on to this has actually allowed us to improve ourselves almost on a year-by-year basis. So.
Yeah, so I've used it for a couple of things, and I thought like there's a little store in there where you have a lot of pre-made deals, and it's just kind of click and order.
Yeah.
It's like Amazon.
Yeah, it's very intuitive.
And which I love Amazon. And there's
I think everyone does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Prime shipping.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Prime shipping.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's not just like business cards and notepads, right? Like what?
Yeah.
So what all does it include in this cache of Print Shop Pro products?
Well, so we do everything in terms of graphic design, custom printing. A lot of people, surprisingly, aren't aware that we have a print shop locally here on the Kirksville campus. And for those out in Mesa, we can still print it here in Kirksville and then ship it out to you in Mesa. And a lot of the times it's actually cheaper than getting or going through some of the local vendors in Arizona as opposed to us. So custom printing, quick copy services. So that includes, like, let's say you're a professor, you're faculty here, and you have to make X amount of copies for your test and make it snappy. So we can provide that as well, as opposed to going to the library or going to your personal printer and just saying, all right, I'm going to hit print and wait here for 15 minutes or so.
Right.
Yeah. So also bindery services, which are great for students. So a lot of the times especially during the second semester, during early part of next year, second year students, KCM students particularly, like to study for boards. So what we do, or what they do, is they have to come in and bring their first aid study material booklets, and then we'll bind it for them. So they're already binded, but they prefer to have like a 3-ring binder, and it's cheaper than a Kinko's or a Staples or anything like that. So we provide those services. We provide lamination, and like you mentioned, you touched on, like the store. We have a promotional store for promotional items here at ATSU, and you can buy mugs. There's an option, you can actually rent tablecloths and table runners, and that's free of charge. You can buy ATSU pens. Anything that we have in the store, obviously, you can order. So it's just a one-stop shop, you could almost say.
Yeah, and it's actually, there are complicated things. Like in the past, I remember I needed to know my department, and I needed to know like an object code, and going through that purchase order process was drudgery. And all of that's preloaded in. Now I noticed the last time I went.
Exactly. So the best part about that is, if you're a newer employee, you'll have to log in and register for the first time, and it's a super easy process. If you're having any difficulty with that, feel free to call us over at CNM. Susan Hamilton's great in terms of doing that. So once you register and once you do log in and you provide your object code and whatnot, it is preloaded, like you said. So any job that you make from then on out, it's already filled in, and like our categories are spaced out too. So there are about 4 different categories, I believe, in terms of how it's outlined. So there's print/advertising, there's like just actual e-blast files, or non-print, etc. So there's a couple different categories, and it's auto-filled for you. And the best part about the system too is, if you're unsure about something, just click on it, finish the job, and then call us at CNM, and then we'll customize and walk you through it.
Cool. All right, so first thing we need to mention is, we know that we mentioned earlier that those question spaces are available on live stream and on Facebook right now while we're talking. And we'll try to, we got our crew over here on the side, and they're going to help us pitch those questions in when it becomes appropriate. Actually, I think I'll probably get like a message or something here. I should probably get the right thing up. So I have a note here, Kit, and I don't even really know what it means, which is common. I'm accustomed to dealing with that. It says ATSU Interprofessional Cross-Campus Collaborative Case.
I'll take it from here, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I will take it from here.
What is that?
I will tell you right now. So, essentially, on November 5th on the Arizona campus and on November 7th and 8th on the Kirksville, Missouri campus, we're actually going to have this case presentation. So, basically, what it is, it's a collaborative case to where interprofessional teams get together. So that's students from ATSU and other various colleges. They get together, they work as a team, and they present a case that they all kind of share. And they kind of work interprofessionally. So you have students from Truman State University here in the Kirksville campus, and then also from ATSU. So you have nursing students at Truman working with DO students here at KCOM, along with MOSO students, and they all work together to provide the most, I guess, collaborative and comprehensive presentation for a particular patient that they simulate. So.
Oh, so this has nothing to do with Print Shop Pro.
This doesn't, no.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did I bring it up out of turn?
No. I put it there for a reason.
Okay.
We did have to mention it, so I'm glad we did.
There, we mentioned it. So that sounds fascinating. What's the potential for people that are watching here to be involved in that?
Well, all you'd have to do is register. So what we'll do is we'll provide this information to those, and I think I'll be sending out an email sooner or later with regard to more information about this.
Oh, okay.
So just stay tuned for the emails, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So I'm gonna sit here and watch, and when questions come up, if they do, I'm imagining, especially if I'm a person that's here's one right here. If I'm a person who's done it the old way, or I have been ordering from outside vendors,
right.
Or I wasn't really actually sure how that process worked. Maybe there are some things that I'm hearing you say that cause me to ask questions. Here's one right here.
Sure.
Right? Is there a minimum amount? Oh, this is a good question. Is there a minimum? My surprise makes you think that
oh, wow.
maybe it was going to be a bad question. But it is a good one, so whatever, we'll roll with it. Is there a minimum amount on binding and lamination?
There is no minimum amount.
So I can make like one binder?
Yes, you can.
And okay.
Yeah.
That was a good question. Good thought. What are the other more common things that you see come up that you think people would be surprised to know about?
Well, I guess some of our writing services. So, a lot of time when you think of communication marketing, you don't really think of writing or peer editing for the most part. But what we can do is if you have something, and the style guide is one of the more important things at university. So everyone can write grammatically correct for the most part, but writing to university style is also key. So if you're still unaware of some of the style guide issues in terms of how do we, let's say, for instance, so if you're talking about the Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine, ideally you want to also mention ATSU, KCOM to make it more university-centric. It's just one of our style guide issues. Not everyone knows that. A lot of the times people who have kind of been here longer, have longer tenure, they're used to just saying Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Yeah.
But for instance, in our style guide, we like to emphasize the ATSU aspect of it too. So going back to that, for the peer editing purposes, if you have something written, whether it's for a brochure or for a flyer, and you're unsure whether or not it's style guide compliant, send it to CNM, and that's also in Print Shop Pro. There's a little button for it,
Right.
and we'll make sure that's style compliant for you, and then.
Yeah, I've used those services before.
Yeah.
I like that because it's kind of like no-brainer. I don't have
Right.
to comb through it myself and
Right.
figure out if I'm
Right.
doing it correctly or not.
Right.
Very good. Okay, so I haven't seen any new questions come up right now. So I think what we'll do is take a quick break, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we got a segment coming up. Well, why don't you tell us about this segment? The table of contents.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think once you watch the video, that'll be pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We're going to come back with Kit. I think we're actually going to do some live demos, or at least I'm going to try to do some live demos, right, while you push the buttons.
Bingo.
To see if we can successfully, see if this darn thing is even as easy as you just said it was. We may just do Mythbusters right now. I think it's going to be okay, though. In the meantime, stay tuned while we go to a short break and we watch a mysterious but very self-explanatory video.
Word can create a table of contents automatically based on your text formatting. In order to create your table of contents, you need to apply styles to your text. First, determine your levels. Heading 1 styles will be the top or main level. Heading 2 styles will be the first sublevel. Heading 3 will be the next, and so on. I am going to apply the Heading 1 style to section 1, 2, and 3. Apply Heading 2 style to section 2.1 and 2.2. And apply Heading 3 style to section 2.2.1. If you notice, as I am doing this, the outline is appearing on the left side of the screen. This will show you the organization of your table of contents. Now, we need to make some space for our table of contents. At the top of the first page, insert a page break. Click back on page 1. On the References tab, click on Table of Contents. Choose Insert Table of Contents. This will give you the most options and features. You can choose to show or hide page numbers. If you right align the page numbers, you can choose the tab leader between the title and the page number. In Format, you can choose the style of the table of contents. I am going to choose Distinctive. In the Show Levels, you can choose to only show the heading levels you want. In this case, I'm only going to show 2. In the Web Preview, you can choose to use hyperlinks instead of numbers. However, leaving this checked allows the user to control-click on a section of the table of contents, and it will automatically navigate to that section. When you make changes to the document, the table of contents does not automatically update. I am going to add a page break before section 2.2. I am also going to apply the Heading 2 style to sections 3.1 and 3.2. To update the table, right-click on the table of contents, select Update Field, then Update Entire Table. This updates all of the entries and their associated page numbers. Please email me if you have any questions, want further instructions, or if you have suggestions for further episodes.
All right, so I know what that is now, and I remember this from last year, I think, and prior years. So Beth Thompson does some fantastic Microsoft Word like tips and techniques kind of training things, and I think she's like a Microsoft Word certified trainer or something. And as soon as I started watching the video, I thought, God, I just had to do that last week, and I had to go to like YouTube University and figure out how to do it. So those are helpful tips. And in fact, we were just talking about making those available individually because she's done several segments like that. But that was great. Thank you, Beth. And I know that I've run into the table of contents quandary a couple of times, and it's nice to know there's somebody around who actually knows how to do that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now, speaking of knowing how to do things.
Right. You're not talking about me, right?
No, I'm talking
Okay.
about me.
Good.
Because I think what's supposed to happen next is you're supposed to prove to us that this
Yeah.
actually is as easy as you said it is, right?
And I figured if there's one person that would be a perfect specimen for being
Like
kind
if
of
I could
ignorant,
figure it out, then
clueless.
anybody could figure it out. Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'll embrace that. So let's throw it up here on the screen then, because I think Kit's got Print Shop Pro up, and basically the way you find this yourself is, we're on the portal. Okay, good. That's what I was going to say. You go to the portal. Now you've got it on there as a recent link.
Right.
And if we didn't have it as a recent link, there's a giant search magnifying glass right there. And if we were to click that and start typing print, there it comes. You really don't even have to get very far, do you? Cool. All right, and this brings us to the page. Now, show us tell me what we're looking at right here.
So this looks like a lot of text.
It
but
does.
Basically what happens here, if you're completely unsure about Print Shop Pro or you're confused by anything I just said prior to that commercial break, everything I outlined is basically right here in terms of what services we provide, why this is here, etc. So you don't necessarily have to worry too much about that text. Now, if you're just talking about putting in orders in, so Joe, if you had to guess and you wanted to put in a new order, where would you go?
Well, based on what you just said there, I was looking all around in the body of this thing. But I'm thinking now that I'm going to go up to the top left to the big button that says New Order.
Nice.
Thank you.
Good,
Okay.
Good. So let's say for this example, you want to do an e-blast header, right?
Oh, okay.
So an e-blast header basically is just like a JPEG that you could attach at the top of your emails to kind of make it prettier.
I'm familiar with those.
Make it a little more fancy, right?
So it's not a quick copy.
You can go to quick copy if you need to, but it's probably somewhere around. What do you think?
So I'm finding that this part of the menu isn't obvious.
Right.
But it does, the help text that popped up when you hovered over it said something about design.
Right. So you can just click on that.
Okay,
if you're ever confused, just hit printing order. Despite the fact that it's a design job,
printing order is the catch-all.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right.
And you could see everything.
Now
that
I
you can provide
see
here.
it. I see it right there. It says design, electronic and graphic, add e-blast t-shirt. That's what I want.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Now then,
now, here's where it can get kind of confusing, right?
Except for it says e-blast header on one of them.
Right. But sometimes people are a little overwhelmed in terms of all the options. So e-blast header is right down there. But some people may be like, oh, what is all this stuff? And I wanted to specify this specifically just because if you're ever confused in terms of what kind of design or anything you want, just hit custom. And then when you hit custom, it kind of goes into this other template and basically allow us to say, all right, basically this person is a little unsure, we'll give them a call, and then they can kind of insert the details in terms of what they want, and then we'll help them through it. But for our purposes, we know exactly what we want, right?
Right, we want an e-blast header.
Right.
Okay,
so
good.
We click on e-blast
All
header.
right.
Right. So let's say we're wanting to do a lunch and learn e-blast header, right? So
yeah, we need one of those.
yeah, we should.
Okay.
Well, we actually do have one. Yeah. So it's
Let's
the one
just
with our
pretend
faces
we
on
need
it.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the one
Yeah.
where I'm laughing hysterically and
Yeah.
you and Brian are just sitting there
I'm
staring
smiling.
at
I'm smiling at the camera.
You're smug. You're
Yeah.
doing a
I'm doing a little smug thing, like I'm doing right
thing.
now. Right.
Sensible chuckle.
So let's just say we wanted to do a lunch and learn e-blast header, right? So for this purposes, or for sake of ease, I'm just going to say I'm going to type lunch and learn.
Lunch and learn. Got it.
So
All right.
simple, right?
And we need graphic design.
That is correct. So
Okay.
that's checked off.
All right.
So we're just going to hit continue, right? And then special instructions. So this is where you can type in whatever you want in the e-blast header. If you want something specific, you can say, you know what, I want this to be really blue heavy, or I really want this to have this image, you know. And so insert those special instructions there. So I'm just typing something random there. And then you just hit continue, right? So attach a file. That's essentially if you had an image that you wanted to add to that e-blast header, you attach it.
Or I had seen something designed differently and I want it reformatted to be an e-blast header.
Right, exactly.
All right.
For our purposes, we're not going to attach anything, so we'll skip attaching a file there, right?
And that would just be a file off my computer.
Yes, yeah.
So if I had seen something on like a website or something that I wanted
What
to
you
modify,
could do
put it
is-
in the notes,
Yes, in the special instructions prior to this, you can do it there.
and it lets me go back. If I get to this point and say, oh, I wanted to put in a
Bingo.
web link, I'll
Yep.
just go back and put it in
We try to
the
make it
notes.
easy, absolutely.
Okay, got it.
So just this little pop-up comes up saying, are you sure you don't want to add an
Right.
attachment?
Got
So,
it.
yeah, we're sure. And now here, thankfully, all of our account numbers are pre-inserted, right? So for our purposes here, it's non-print, and we can just hit, that's 152, so that's CNM's.
Oh,
you know,
non-print.
objective.
I see.
Yeah,
It says it
right,
there in the.
Right, in parentheses. So those are the 4 categories. So non-print, promo supplies, advertising, and then print.
Got it.
Right?
Yep.
And then suggested due date. So this is where you insert where you, or ideally when you'd like it returned to you or submitted to
Ah,
you for,
so I want it
for a draft.
tomorrow.
Right. So if you wanted tomorrow, you'd
today,
be
this
one of
afternoon.
those people. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually good that you mentioned that, because there are times where emergencies arise,
Yep.
and you do need a rush job. So let's just say you do want it tomorrow. So we'll click
I
on
do.
that.
I usually do.
Right, because you're very needy, as am I, so it's perfect.
Ignorant and needy, I believe, are the 2 adjectives I
Right,
collected
right.
today. Thank you.
Right, so
Rush.
for a rush job, yes, this is a rush job.
Yeah.
And then delivery, it's where you want it. So
Right.
you can typically, for a file like this, you can just leave it at hold for pickup.
Okay.
And then pickup location, you can select digital file down here.
Yeah, okay, I see
Right.
it. I see it.
So from there, you can just hit finish. And
I'm
then once
done.
you hit finish, an email gets sent to your email address, just because it's attached to your user profile.
Right.
And then you get confirmation on it when it's done. And you can actually get an order number. And once you get that order number, you can insert that order number into Print Shop Pro and say, hey, what's the status of the eBlast header? What's going on with it? You insert that order number, and then you can kind of see real-time
I see.
updates for it.
Very
So-
good. All right, hey, let's do one more. We got time for
Sure.
one more.
Sure.
So let's let me see if I can do this. So I've got on here. I'm going to do a flyer.
Okay.
All right. So I go back up to the top, right? New order.
Right.
And this is going to be a printing order, right? And then I'm going to look. I'm looking. Oh, it says flyers. There it
There you
is.
go.
Flyers and postcards. All right, good. And my flyer is going to be just a standard sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11.
Perfect.
Now then, this job name is going to be Kit for Prom King.
Okay. Perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need 6,000 copies.
Perfect.
Yeah. We're going to get you elected, Kit. All right. Number of sheets.
Right.
I see. Just so it would just be one.
So if you're ever wondering what this is, you click this little.
the number of original. Okay, and I figured that
Right.
that's what it meant. So it's
Right.
just one-sided, one sheet.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah, full color.
You wouldn't have it any less, right?
Right, and then we really need I don't know
So
what that
now the
means.
stock style, this information isn't too important. For the most part, you can just leave it at the standard stuff unless you really want something specific. So as you can see here, there's some explanation. So for bond, there's regular paper used for copiers, handouts, tests, etc. And then text, it's a nice paper finish used for letterhead, brochures, and newsletters.
Yeah, we're going to need text.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
And then the stock weight needs to be pretty heavy. It's got to
Right.
be weatherproof.
100 is the heaviest that we have.
All right, that's
so
what we need
perfect,
then.
Yeah. And then the paper color is pretty self-explanatory. So there's blue, white with a matte finish,
With a-
and then white with a gloss
Yeah,
finish.
matte is what's in, so we
Right.
need the white matte.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
all right, and continue. Good. I think I did it. Oh,
Please enter a number greater than 0 for number of copies. Let's do
Maybe
this.
no
So,
comma.
no comma. And then hit continue.
good. It's
Right.
perfectly okay with 6,000 copies. No folding special instructions. Please, Photoshop Kit
With Joe.
on a pony.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'm so compliant right now.
You
This
are
is
going to
insane.
you're going to get elected, no question. Ordinarily I would attach several files, but I think for today
Right.
we'll skip attaching a file. That'll be fine. And I understand that it would be your head shot, a
Right.
full length shot,
Yep.
side pose, and we would
On a pony.
they'll put you on the pony.
Right, right.
All right, good. Good. Let's see. Oh yeah, account number would be a print job, right? So I would look through, yep. And then all of this stuff, whatever. This is magical, imaginary,
Right.
so it doesn't really matter.
Right. And here you can actually have the pickup location, since it is a physical copy. You can either have
I would either go get it
at
or
the
have it
mailroom,
mailed.
or
I see. I'll go get it.
Okay.
I'll have to bring it. Flatbed truck.
Perfect. Yeah.
For my
so that's just the
6,000
printing
copies.
services.
Right. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So that seems intuitive. Let me see if I haven't seen any. Well, I haven't looked. That's the real truth. We've got a couple of questions here. I do want to answer those before we're done today, but I think what we want to do first is take a break, because your attention spans are only so long, right?
That's right.
And in the meantime, what we've got is a segment we've been looking forward to. It is the Get to Know with Kit and Joe with the esteemed Ted Wendel.
That's right.
And possibly or possibly not singing, and then there's going to be a story, I understand, after that. All right, so we're going to take a break. You don't go anywhere, because we will be back to answer your questions and wrap up this segment on Print Shop Pro. In the meantime, enjoy Kit's car ride with Dr. Ted Wendel.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Get to Know with Kit and Joe. My name is Kit Avanzado, and today with me I have Dr. Ted Wendel.
Hold on, we had a glitch.
I'm not sure if I hit a button or somebody else hit a button.
We got a glitch. Hold on.
You know what happens during these breaks is Kit and I get up and do jumping jacks and some calisthenics.
We could do it.
We play,
We could.
we thumb wrestle
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Could we get the thumb wrestling in the?
All right, you know how to count this off, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I declare a thumb war. So now we're just kind of playing right here.
Do you do this?
Do you do the sneak?
I don't even know if that's allowed.
I'm pretty sure you cheated.
That's like playground rules
So
from the street.
wait. I play an evasive game.
Wow, your
So
thumb is elusive.
he's got me. He's got me.
1. Do you have to count to 3?
I usually just do 1.
Your hands are really cold.
Yeah. Just like
I'm
my
not.
heart. Yeah.
There's still no video.
Okay, I've got it.
Oh, we've got it now?
I've got it here.
You saw me defeat Kit. in
Yeah.
Thumb wrestling, and that's what's most important to me right now.
Yeah,
Here it comes.
that's the norm.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Get to Know with Kit and Joe. My name is Kit Avanzado, and today with me I have Dr. Ted Wendel, and Dr. Wendel is Senior Vice President of Planning and Strategic Initiatives. So welcome, Dr. Wendel.
Hey, it's great to be here, Kit.
Excellent, excellent. So I guess before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of your responsibilities and your role here at ATSU, let's talk a little bit about your history, I guess where you came from, your education, etc.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Philadelphia. Went to school in North Carolina. Started out undergraduate school at a place called St. Andrews College in Laurinburg, North Carolina.
Okay.
Which is, pretty far out in the country. I got the chance to go to graduate school at Wake Forest, so I consider myself a demon deacon. Got a doctorate in pharmacology. Learned about neuropharmacology and psychopharmacology, did medical research for quite a few years, on the faculty at Wake Forest, taught medical students there. Some of my friends at Wake Forest wound up in a place called Kirksville, Missouri. And actually my best friend in graduate school, Dr. Orrin Beatty, came to Kirksville when he was on the physiology faculty, and he called me one day and said, they need a pharmacologist, and why don't you come up here to Kirksville? And I did, and was on the faculty here for 8 years. And I have a daughter who grew up here in Kirksville. I have an ex-wife who's here in Kirksville. But this is one of the places that I think about when I think about home.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's great. And let's just kind of parlay that into talking a little bit about your responsibility here at the school. So you mentioned Kirksville and how it's your second home. So let's talk about what your role here is at ETSU and what some of your responsibilities are.
It's my job to sort of monitor and track our progress on our strategic plan, to make sure that we're actually, doing what we think we're doing and moving ahead.
Yeah, that's an important process, and I think it's something that a lot of the staff, employees, and even students here at HSU kind of don't have, not much of an idea about, but it's just kind of that gray area. So in the background, you guys actually do a lot in terms of the forward progress of the university. So I guess who else is under your umbrella in terms of your leadership responsibilities? So who falls under Dr. Wendel?
If I work with the president's staff, mostly the vice presidents. They don't report to me, they report to the president, but we work as a team and a group. I work pretty closely with Gary Cloud because Gary's involved with some strategic initiatives that are important to our success in the future. It worries me a little that people don't know a lot more about the strategic plan. We've done a lot to try to publish it, but we've got these 6 strategic initiatives that revolve around innovation and partnership and diversity, and I think in some ways people know about them, but they might not recognize them as part of the plan. So my job in some ways is to make sure people know what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and just in my short time here at the university, I've been here about 2 years. When I first started, I didn't know too much about it, but as you kind of get more ingrained, and I've actually seen the progress that we've made in terms of notifying everyone about the strategic initiative and about our goals. So just in that short time frame for myself, I've noticed a pretty stark difference. So that's great,
So I get this lens that has, this will be my 19th year at ATSU. And I rejoined the university back in 1998 with Dr. Phelps and Gary Cloud out in Phoenix, and we put together a plan back then that really, it was before we were in Mesa, and it involved growing the programs there and creating a firm base for a campus out there. And we got really lucky. We were able to buy some land and build some buildings, and now, we're pretty proud of that campus. So, the idea that we've made progress, when you look at it over 20 years, we've made an incredible amount of progress.
Absolutely.
And I think what we've done is really a benefit to the whole institution.
Let me ask you, what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite thing about working for ETSU? What do you like? What do you enjoy seeing the most?
Well, this sounds kind of trite, but it's the people. I love the people I work with, and from the president through everybody that I get to work with on a daily basis, they're just really special people. We've got common goals, we've got some common understandings, but there's a diversity and just an excitement that is always there, and that's kind of fun. And then we've got kind of a lighthearted mood, I think, at times.
Yeah.
We joke around, we have fun. It's not a negative kind of fun, but people enjoy being around each other, having fun with each other, and doing good work. So you don't find that in a lot of places. There are lots of universities where people don't get along, where they hole up behind closed doors. I love working in a place where that's not the case.
Absolutely, and I agree wholeheartedly with that. But let's drill down a little bit more into Dr. Wendel and what you're all about. So what are some of your favorite things to do, like hobbies, etc.? What do you like to do?
Well, I've got this second career thing where I'm a photojournalist.
Oh yeah, yep.
And that takes up most of my spare time. There's a little golf out there, not much anymore. It takes up a lot of time that I don't have.
Right.
So most of the time, if I'm not working or traveling to work, I'm trying to develop a reputation and a career, actually, as a photojournalist. and that's kind of fun because it gets me, I've been able to travel around the world. I've been able to meet different people in a lot of different places. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. So that's kind of the hobby.
I guess going back to the university, do you have anything exciting to share that's coming up, that's coming down the pike? Is there any one little tidbit of news that you'd really like to get out there and let the people know?
Well, I think that's, we kind of look ahead at what's coming along for the future in healthcare. And we talk to a lot of people at a lot of different venues, and certainly mental health
Right.
is the opportunity and almost the obligation, because it's a big problem in our society. It's an opportunity for ATSU to make a contribution of well-trained health professionals, and those people will be in demand and will find great careers now over the next 20 to 30 years. So I'm pretty excited about mental health and the types of people that we may train and the way we might add to our existing professionals with some mental health curricula. So, that would be my, it's probably not an announcement. There's some discussion in the strategic plan, but that's what I'm excited about at this moment for the university.
Absolutely. It's great. Well, Dr. Wendel, thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it. And that wraps up another segment of Get to Know with Kit and Joe. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Kit.
So, that was actually a really fun car ride.
Yeah?
You missed out, and Ted actually mentioned it'd be really great if Joe was in the back seat. I felt like he kept looking to see if
I was going to
Joe
pop
was
up
like,
at
oh,
some
he's
point.
going to be there sooner or later.
Right.
But we mentioned earlier in the first part of our segment, asking about whether or not Ted sang. So there's a little bit of a story. I was kind of surprised how Ted brought up the fact that he actually asked, so when are we going to do some karaoke? And I was like right now.
Right this minute.
Right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I may have called him on his bluff. So he didn't want to sing. He wanted to dub it in. But, next time, I think when we do get the three of us in a car, we'll probably get some karaoke going there.
Yeah, what do you call that? Those YouTube videos where they took like dialogue and they turn it in, like auto-tune the news or something?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's produced some great ones, like hide your kids, hide your wife, or whatever.
Right.
We could do that with your interview.
I think so. I think we can.
Against
Ted,
made a
against
lot of money.
Dr. Wendel's will. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of questions before we wrap this up regarding Print Shop Pro, right? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here's the first one. I think it's decent. I mean, it's intuitive. What's the typical amount of lead time a person should allow for a job?
Right. Ideally, we'd like as much lead time as possible, but if it comes down to it, we ask for about 2 weeks. So that's kind of the standard. So at least 2 weeks lead time. Most projects that people want to start, they have an idea and they're all right, I want to get it out by this date.
Yeah.
So give us as much lead time as possible, but if you can't, 2 weeks. And obviously, if there are rush jobs, let us know and we'll do the best that we can to accommodate you.
Yeah, and I've known you're pretty good at cranking it out when you need to.
Right.
And obviously the scale of the job is going to make a big difference, right? If I need a full color 20-page magazine,
Right.
2 weeks isn't going to do it.
No, it's not going to cut it.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Fair enough. How about business cards? This is probably the point where most people that don't normally order things are going to interact with Print Shop Pro. How do I do business cards?
Pretty intuitive. So, I mean, you go back to to our ATSU portal. You go into Print Shop Pro again, and then as opposed to clicking printing order, there's actually another separate button/tab for business cards.
Yeah.
So
I think I saw that actually.
Yeah. So all you have to do is just click on that, and then there's a field that will come up, and you just fill out the field.
Because they're totally pre-designed, and it's just you
Yeah.
putting in your
Yeah.
information.
It's under the standard ATSU template. So.
Gotcha. What are the limits on what you can order? This is an interesting question. Can I get a giraffe? Is really what I want to know.
You can get a giraffe printed on a piece of paper.
Aha,
You can get
all
as
right.
many pieces of giraffe paper as you want, I guess you could say.
Can I have it bound into a giant giraffe binder?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Okay, good.
But for the most part, we can accommodate most any size job. But the best thing to do is if you have any questions in terms of whether or not we can, just contact us and we can give you an exact quote and give you a timeline
Yeah.
in terms of how fast or how long it's going to take.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, Kit, I gotta say, I learned more about Print Shop Pro today than I ever cared to.
Right.
But it's good to know that those sort of solutions are out there, and I think we're seeing that in a lot of areas of the university, automating things that we've done through paper and email or phone
Right.
calls and back and forth, and I think that's always it's got to be positive.
Right, right.
And it certainly has made the shop over there more efficient and easier to work with, and I bet it's taken some of the pressure and burden off of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a huge help.
So that's great. So I think we're nearing the end
Yeah.
of our time. I mean, we thumb wrestled.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
won.
Yeah. Joe usually wins.
I feel like that was really an important part of this whole segment. But other than that, we hope that this has been educational, hopefully a little bit entertaining as well. As always, if you have additional questions after the segment ends, feel free to forward those along either via the Facebook Live
Right.
page. We will also, at its.atsu.edu/FB. We'll also have the highly polished, and although we got to leave the thumb wrestling thing in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That will the completed version will be recorded and available in high definition on our YouTube channel, its.atsu.edu/YT, including my come from behind underdog thumb
true.
wrestling victory.
It's a true Rudy story. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody gave me a chance.
No.
After they saw the elusiveness of your thumb, it was. God, that was a
I was
tough
surprised.
battle.
I was surprised.
You know, the odds were stacked against me.
It was a classic David
We
versus
should do
Goliath.
a 30 for 30
Really should.
segment with thumb wrestling.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Really should.
So find either of those outlets and post questions on there. If you continue to have questions after the break, after we're done, we will be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
With a segment that I have to plan.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be yet, but rest assured it's going to be good. We'll have another edition of the Get to Know with Kit and Joe. And as always, this has been fun. We kind of wrap these up and go, I think they just paid us to do this.
I think so.
That was pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool to get paid.
So hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did. Have a great rest of your day and week. Thank you for joining us for this edition, and we'll see you next time on the Lunch and Learn.